Welcome back. Thank you so much for watching us. This is Empower, the program that focuses on people and workplace. We connect, we empower, and we inspire. And before we went for a break, we were looking at strategic HR management in any organization. And we want to continue from where we stopped, Georgia. And my question is, how does an organization benefit from this strategic HR? Why don't you just have the basics and move on? Maybe the benefits, 2 or 3 benefits that we get?
Now, one of the benefits and one of the things that a company will benefit from is objectivity. Your ability to focus on the outcome, on the big picture. Because when you're not strategic,
Yes.
you will try and hit the targets from using anything, and someone said that if you don't know where you're going,
Yes.
any route will lead you there. Now you want to be objective.
Yes.
Number 2, you are going to have what I call longevity in business.
Yes.
Futuristic preparation, what they call planning.
Yes.
Yeah, so that you do not live in business for now. You live for the future.
Yes.
You see 3, 4, 5 years to come, what will be happening, what
Yes.
kind of skill sets you'll need for
Yeah.
the next 3, 5 years. Remember, the world is dynamic.
Yes.
There are changes, there are trends. People are talking about soon we'll be having robots and all that.
Yes.
You're asking yourself, how are you going to survive
Yeah.
when it gets there?
True.
And what kind of skill sets will you need for you to be able to be productive?
Yes.
The third thing that you will benefit from a strategic perspective is you will have more data. You'll be able to make informed decisions.
True.
When you are just operational from a HR perspective, you are only delivering on the day-to-day.
Yes.
So we were talking about when you're having a lot of tardity in the workplace. Tardity here in this case is people who don't show up at the workplace, people
Yes.
coming late and all that. What is it communicating?
Yes.
When you have that data and you're able to translate it into the big picture, for example, what kind of loss is the
Yes.
company incurring
Yes.
as a result of the man hours lost?
Yes.
If we are talking about a manufacturing setup or whatever kind of setup, if people are having what we call burnout, yeah, what could be the reason? Are they overworking? Is the organization poorer
Yes.
in the workplace? You make informed decisions that are data-driven from a strategic HR perspective. Yeah, and there could be a lot more than that, but
Yeah,
of
there
course we
could be
don't
a
have the
lot.
time to go into much.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, in a brief way, so how would you put it that the performance, we link this strategic HR and performance,
Okay.
because when people are brought into work, the expectation of the employer, come and do what I hired you to do. So we want to link this strategic HR plus organizational performance in a brief statement.
The sad situation is that sometimes we don't see the big picture. So as I said, many times people live for now. And when you recruit me for what you recruited me to do,
Yes.
you'll only get that.
Yes.
That's what I call transactional relationship
Yes.
at work. So you're paying me 50 bob, I'll give you what 50 bob. However, I have a potential that can give you 10,000.
Yes.
The question should be, can I get much more from you
Yes.
than what I bargained for, than what I recruited you for? And if I need to get much more from you, what initiatives do I need to put in place?
Yes.
For example, continuous learning and development.
Yes.
Building my skill set, making me a lot better than I was.
Yes.
The benefit is to who? It is to both the organization and the individual.
employee, yes.
And at the end of the day, the organization then begins getting better performance in terms of quality, in terms of client loyalty, client loyalty, you know,
Yes.
or customer loyalty, because the customer is attached to the person in the organization. They are not attached to the building.
Yes.
They're attached to the person. If from a strategic perspective, you treat your employee well, and you give them what will make them happy.
Yes.
And let's not imagine that it is the money that will make them happy. There's a lot more factors that will make somebody happy in the
Yes.
workplace. A happy employee resonates with a happy customer.
Yes.
And this is the in-between that we call performance.
Yes.
Then you're asking yourself, how are you going to come up with the metrics
Yes.
for measuring the performance? How are you going to monitor that?
Yes.
How are you going to evaluate the same? And at the end of the day, how are you going to motivate and reward so
Yes.
that people can continue doing what they were doing? Remember, people do more of what they are rewarded to do. If you don't reward me to do it, I will not continue doing it.
Yes.
But if I see that there is a carrot, something that will, at the end of the day, make me happy,
Yes.
I will keep doing it and possibly do even more in the hope that I will get more.
Yeah, and I like that, because most of the time it doesn't mean that it has to be money.
Correct.
Even a word of appreciation,
Correct.
recognition,
Correct.
that you have done well.
Correct.
Someone sees that you notice my efforts. And because I don't want that to
That
change.
I am valuable
Yes,
in the
I'm
workplace.
valuable. You can see my value. You know, you can see my value.
Correct.
And I think that is why we are looking at HR being a value add as opposed to being a cost center, what we said last week.
Absolutely.
That people viewed it, or most, even others view it today as a cost center. But if you look at it and see the benefits that you're going to get out of having the structures in place, then you can appreciate that it's adding value as opposed to taking from you.
You will definitely get value.
Yes.
In terms of performance, in terms of your perspective as an entrepreneur.
Yes.
You want outcomes. You want better.
Yes.
Remember, you can't get something out of nothing.
True.
You will never. They say that if you don't feed the cow and treat it well, you may not get as much milk
Yes.
as you would want. So you need to build the capacity of this workforce.
Yes.
Value them. Put them in the correct environment. Tell them what to do through job descriptions.
Yes.
And, those parameters. Come up with what we call key performance indicators. Telling them this is, if you do this and you
Yes.
do this and you do this, we will know that truly you are performing. And then show how you will reward them. Once an employee can see this cycle at the point of entry
Yes.
and the end of the month or the
Yes.
end of the year, the motivation comes in. They are inspired. They will do anything and everything for you to help you get where you want to be.
Wow. And that takes us back to when we said that not everyone can practice HR.
Correct.
And you should avoid those mistakes, assuming any person in the office can do the HR work. Yeah, that is something I really want to stress. That people
Not anyone
can do it.
can do HR.
Yes.
Don't try and get the salesperson to be a HR. Remember,
Yes.
it's DNA. People are structured differently. If we get to speak about this again on another day, we will possibly relate to personality
Yes.
against skills, against your work. Because our personalities determine the kind of jobs we do. You will discover that the personality of the salesperson and the personality of the HR are completely different.
Yes.
The personality of the finance person and the personality of the HR are completely different. So you can't take the finance. I hear people saying finance and admin.
Yes, finance and admin.
And they are saying that the finances will handle HR.
yes.
You will kill your company for nothing. It is as good as getting a finance person to collect debts out there. The customer disappears because they don't know how to speak. Unfortunately, that is not their strength. That's the unfortunate thing. But they can get better if they are trained
Yes.
and their capacity is built.
Wow. Great. This is a wide topic.
Absolutely.
Now, I always want to, my stand is that everything starts with God.
Correct.
Even what you have done in school, what people try to come up with, even if it's not clearly said, and I think we discussed this with you before we started the show, that we need to refer to the Bible or to the basics. The basics is back to the Word of God. So this HR management, how do you relate it to the Word of God, especially now that you are a pastor?
Wow. And this is quite important that we
Yes.
all understand that God has uniquely created us
Yes.
to achieve particular intents and purposes in this life. We were not all created to do the same thing.
Yes.
We have been given a particular path to our journey in life.
Yes.
That's why it is important to first get our relationship right with God,
Yes.
and then our relationship with people will be okay. You will note that when people don't know God, they can do anything and everything.
Yes.
They can speak the way you want, they can do what they want.
Yes.
You know, they have no control of themselves. But when God comes in play
Yes.
and controls your actions, controls your behavior, then we have fewer issues. Now, how do we relate HR to to the Bible?
Yes.
Jesus, when he was starting his work on earth, he selected what we call the 12.
Yes.
Selected. He walked around and he looked for gifts and talents. He looked at this guy, Peter and Andrew, who were at the river,
The sea.
fishing, at the sea fishing. And he could relate that these guys are fishing fish. I can teach them how to fish men. He's the only one, they're the only ones Jesus told, I will teach you to be fishers of men. He didn't tell the others that I will
Yes.
teach you to be fishers.
Matthew. Yeah.
He didn't tell them that. He gave them a different
Yes.
scenario. Now, Jesus selected 12. And from the selection, he was very specific about what they need to do.
Yes.
In terms of, one was an accountant collecting money. Another one was an evangelist. He knew how to speak. Jesus would look at people's unique abilities and put them in the right place. In HR, if you don't put people in the right space,
Yes.
it's recipe for distraction. Don't take a HR and put them in finance. You will have a problem because finance are very specific in terms of policy. If in fact, a joke is made that they say, if you tell a finance person jump, they ask you where is it written. If you tell a HR jump, they ask you how high. These are two different personalities. So Jesus, from the Word of God, taught us as organizations that we need to get the right resources, the right skill set, distribute them correctly in the workplace, put them in the